Superman number 33, Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason making their return with Doug Mankey on art. So not only did we just have two-part, so 4 issues of fill-ins, we
Yep.
also had easily the worst 2 issues by this team just before that. So Superman's been in a
Yep.
bit of a weird place for a while, where it's felt kind of, and Black Dawn even was kind of murky. Like it's not really been great since Reborn.
Yeah, it's been like a 3 months, which if you take into account the double shipping schedule, that's about how long a normal break would have lasted, for a team to get it right.
Mm.
So, but yeah, it man, the days of the carnival story feel long behind us, you
Yeah,
know.
so getting into this, I was like, I'm hopeful we're back on track. Give us the team back. They've rested a little bit. They've worked on their story, and I'm fairly happy to say that I enjoyed this issue the most I have Superman since probably the first issue of Black. Because the first issue of Black Dawn was fine. It was then
It was good.
when it started getting going and it started bringing in Manchester Black and the weird plot elements that it got really iffy. But this story is focusing on Lex, and
Hmm.
we're picking back up the fact that he's supposed to be the new ruler of Darkseid. No, not Darkseid, Apocalypse. You know what I meant?
Apocalypse.
Brain
First ice on
fart.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, and I love the stuff at the start of this with like them working like we see these criminals, they're all wearing fake Justice League masks, and they're
I love that.
on this heist. And then you see flying above them, it's both Superman and Lex Luthor, and they're like, "Oh, you first? No, I insist. You take the first shot at the bad guys."
That page when you turn it and you see both of them, because you get the red cape,
Yeah.
right? Like you get the shadow and then the red cape. You're like, oh, clearly it's Superman. And then you turn the page and it's both of them. And
It's them being polite and going, "No, no, I insist. You
yeah,
go first." That cracked me up to no end.
yep,
And then after they've dealt with everything, they've beat the bad guys, and Superman's like, "Oh, you stay for the press, Lex. I'm going to fly off. That's your thing. I don't care."
yep,
But it's like it's Lex is talking about how he's finally kind of been accepted as one of the heroes of Metropolis. Even Superman's kind of like, oh, okay, he's making an effort, and they're kind of working in the same space. He's almost a full-on ally at this point. And of course, the start of the book teases that Apocalypse is kind of in chaos because they don't have a king right now, and
hmm,
we have these two characters from Apocalypse show up and take him, basically kidnap him and take him to Apocalypse.
yeah.
And I love that. So Clark goes home and John's like, "Oh, I'm going to go and hang out with Damien. We're going to go do some Super Son stuff." And he's like, "No, let's do some family things. Let's go see a movie. Let's go do things." And he gets a little this. They get this signal where both Clark and John hear this Kryptonian signal that only they can hear, and it's like, "Oh, it's Lex. He's saying something's important, but you know what? Let's just ignore it. The last time he set this off, it was to show off his new armor. This is not a big deal."
Yeah, he upgraded his shield emblem on his chest,
Which
and
don't you kind of love that Lex like calls Superman to come and check it? Oh look, I've upgraded my armor. He's so excited to show it
he's
off. He's like, "Hey,
yeah, he's that nerdy friend. Like Lex's digressed has gone back to Smallville Lex when they were kind of friendly. Like we've seen it in multiple origins, and but
regressed." I think you
like
meant to say there, but
regressed. There we
there you
go.
go.
Sorry, he's
Digress.
regressed to that youthful self where he's like, "Hey, check this out! Isn't this cool? Like, come on!" And I feel like they're setting up the heel turn finally, and
I
I've
think I
been
know. I think I know
dreading
what's.
this.
I think I know what's going to be, though, Matt. I think because obviously his suit's all powered by a mother box, right? I
Yeah,
think I think his mother box is going to get taken away, and I think him not having the power to feel equal is going to be what turns him back to being
yep.
vindictive and wanting to be him old self again.
I agree because in all the promo images we've seen from Doomsday Clock, it seems that Lex is pretty central to that, and it would make sense to set the table for him to be more antagonistic towards Superman at the start of that. And I can see that. I can see that when they take the mother box
And
away,
we know Doomsday
he's
Clock
jealous of him.
is set a year later as well, so there's
Hmm.
time in the story to like have him build up
Yeah,
to it over
yeah,
as we're going through Doomsday Clock. So
yeah.
that could work quite well. But he gets taken, and then the family go for their movie. They come out, and it's on the way home.
Which so I looked up which movie it was,
Mm,
and it's one of the spaghetti westerns, right? Because those names are super familiar.
I think so. They were sounding familiar, but I didn't quite catch what movie it was.
But what I like is that Clark talks about, he's talking with John, like, oh, I used to watch that on TV with my dad all the time. So it was cool to see it on the big screen with you. And it was just some nice little, again, like this book was about the family moments of them living in Hamilton. So that was a nice little...
I need to rewatch those movies. It's been a while. I need to find an excuse to do them in flux and make Connor watch them. But I do love that trilogy.
I just wanted to point that out, that, you know, and that's when all hell breaks loose, because you have the Lex bots come and they track the Kryptonian signature, which that's scary for Superman.
Yeah, I liked how they wrote off. There's a quick excuse, because I think Lois questions, wait, does that mean he knows who you are if he can track you like that? And there's a quick, like, oh no, it just tracks the signature of my DNA. It's not like a constant monitoring. Like, you just sort of, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they only receive, not send.
Yeah.
You know, so... But still, if it can track if it can receive and not send, so it receives orders but it doesn't send it back, yeah. But still, like, I don't know. I don't trust Lex not to just use broken, out-of-date bots,
I don't know.
So...
I don't know, it seems a bit... So they have a bit of fight scene. Because they actually say, oh, Lex Luthor needs your help, you're coming with us, and Clark's like, no. And then like, well, tough, you've given us a negative response, now we have to take you by force. So they have a bit of a fight scene. You know, we have oth Clark and John, you know, opening the shirts at the same time. You know,
that was pretty cool.
Have a little moment. But then the Mother Box decides to just transport them to Apocalypse anyway, and Lois goes as well. All three of them get taken, and the last page is that all three of them have been split up. They're all in different parts of Apocalypse. I'm basically expecting Lois to have a fight with Granny Goodness at some point over this arc. It makes too much sense. But yeah, so we're in Apocalypse. So it was a set-up issue. It was just kind of getting us to the start of what this arc's really going to be. But we're on Apocalypse, we're dealing with Lex, and we're dealing with the family all being kind of stranded on there. So this should be fun. I like this issue quite a bit. It's definitely the most I've enjoyed Superman in about 3 or 4 months. So I'm happy to say that.
And Monkey's art, while it can be like sketchy, and in that way that it looks like with the pencils, it looks like a sketch that's been colored, you know? Sometimes it doesn't work, other times it really works, like that page with Superman and Lex flying overhead, or the one at the end of that.
The one at the end of that scene where it's like Lex has his hand on Superman's shoulder and he's saying, "Hey, please, officer, we're all on the same team here."
Yeah,
it's another good page.
Great. Yeah, and the way Monkey draws John as well looks really good. So it's just it's good to have this team back.
Yeah, it is, and it's good that they're actually on top form and they're telling an actual story and not here's lots of plaques that we're going to read off verbatim for the whole issue. Because that was tedious as hell. But no, I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm looking forward to seeing how they deal with this Lex Apocalypse stuff and where it goes. So, and obviously, again, the whole family's involved, so it feels like the family book again. So no, it was nice to have it back.